Hey guys, my name is Ryan, and welcome to Overwatch Central. So the workshop has been out almost 2 weeks, and people are really excited with the levels of stuff that we're seeing already. But I figured that I'd sit down with somebody called Darwin Streams, who is a well-known streamer that has been making stuff in the workshop with his developer background. From turrets that shoot out Torbjorns that home in on targets, to his most recent Anna grenade tool, he's been making a lot of stuff, so I figured now was a good time to sit down with him and really talk about how good the workshop is and how much of an impact it has on the game as a whole. You can check out all of his stuff in the description below, but let's get started. So this is a very different interview to previous stuff that we've done in the past. We speak to top 500 players about certain heroes. Who are you? Why should people listen to you when it comes to using and trying to get the most out of the workshop?
My name is Darwin. I'm known on Twitch as Darwin Streams. And I seem to be the person to mess around with the workshop the most right now. You may have seen some of my stuff on Reddit and Twitter. And people seem to think that I know stuff about that, so yeah. And I pretend that I do.
What kind of development background do you have then?
Well, I've been working as a game developer for 5 years now, I think, but I'm not really a programmer. I'm more of a producer / game designer. So I picked up some basic scripting skills from my programmers, and yeah, this tool is fairly easy to understand if you have understanding of basic gaming logic.
Well, I guess that's the first question, and really is the workshop at the moment. If we're looking at a scale between being a very easy to use system versus what game developers and designers would actually use, whereabouts does the workshop sit between something that's quite easy to use and then an actual tool that makes games?
I honestly think it's as easy to use as possible. I put that right there at the easiest level. And it's still fairly powerful. It doesn't make it bad, but it is very accessible for sure.
And I guess the main real question is, you have examples of workshop stuff, like Gary's mod in the CSGO source is a really good example of the assets taken and creating games like Trouble in Terrorist Town, or those kind of mini games, I suppose, that's in there. A Dota came from this for Warcraft back in the day. What are the lengths and levels that the workshop could go in its current state? Can we get a brand new game designed from the ground up within it, or are there certain limitations?
There are definitely some limitations. We don't have any kind of map editor or any ability to work with assets like 3D models, and we can't import anything, any custom graphics or models or anything, or sounds. And that definitely sets some limitations. No, I wouldn't say it can't take us to the Dota levels like what Warcraft 3 World Editor used to do, but it can definitely there's a lot to build upon with this workshop thing. This is just the very first version, and with every game editor, the very first version wasn't the one that gave us Dota and Gary's mod stuff and all that.
Right. For those that are interested in trying to learn these tools, what's the best advice that you can give them? Because going into it without any prior experience, it can be quite a daunting experience to try and work out how to make these mini games.
I think that looking at official presets that Blizzard provided with the workshop is very helpful, and I still find it helpful. I've been doing that since release of the workshop, which is whole 9 days or something, and I still am looking at official presets to see cleaner and more proper version to manage things with the workshop. I guess that's the place to start, but it's very logical. I gotta say that workshop is has a really strong logic in it. If you just think about how you want the event to happen, or if you think about how you want to do some action, you can probably almost type it out. And the drop down menu system, some people seem to hate it. I'd say more advanced programmers seem to hate that we have to deal with all the drop downs and we can't just type in script. And I can see how that could be annoying to a person who is used to just type in code. But I think that drop-down system is very helpful just to learn, because you still wouldn't be able to type script if you don't know the syntax and all the rules and how that works. and yeah, just going through tooltips that provided with the drop-down menu system in Workshop is really helpful, really useful.
What kind of stuff have you made so far then? Because you've made quite a few different, like, basically mods, and then I guess what stuff are you planning to make in the future?
There's been a lot of messing around with the workshop, just like mainly taking memes and making them real, like with Mercy teleporting to Genji when he presses need healing, or gun that shoots Torbjorns wasn't even a meme really. It kind of has become one after that. I think someone in chat just said, "Can you make a gun that shoots Torbjorns?" And I was like, "No," and then I was like, "Wait, no, I think I think there is a way to do that." Yeah. So yeah, now I'm more interested in making like actual stuff that could be used by people. It's important that this tool can appeal both to just casual audience with some funny stuff or game mods, and it can also be used as a powerful tool for professional players.
And I guess that's the main thing, because recently you made the Ana grenade tool, and I guess that's a good example of people trying to make tools to get better at the game, right? Like somebody made like a Tile Frenzy version of Ash being able to shoot targets with a sort of time duration, how many targets you can hit in that time. So it seems that there's a good amount of people trying to make tools to help people practice certain elements. Is that something that you are personally interested in, or are you more interested in really pushing how far these tools can go?
Yeah, definitely. I think that it's a good use of the workshop. And I personally made an Ana tool because I'm an Ana player myself, and just aligning these nades could be so tedious. You have to have a person that will spectate and see where it lands, or how you should move that and all that. So this mod came purely out of personal experience. I wanted to solve an issue I was having. But definitely we'll see more of great tools for aim training and practice. Currently we have practice range in Overwatch, and that's what people use to warm up before playing comp or something. And it's not that great. It doesn't. It's the same map, the same movement every time. And I think that new mods made with Workshop will definitely become part of daily routine for all competitive players.
Is this the best thing that Blizzard have done sort of since the launch of the game? Do you like this sort of direction that Blizzard have gone in? Because you play Overwatch, you're fairly good competitive-wise, like you have experience in that game. But this turn from Blizzard to make something that's a bit more PvE focused, I guess, to an extent, or I guess more fun, less competitive. Do you think that that's a good decision coming from Blizzard?
Yes. I think releasing the workshop is the best decision they could have ever made.
Why is that? Because I've been asking people around, and there's a big focus on competitive with just the people that play the game, the streamers, and obviously the Overwatch League. Now we're in this area where more silly games could be made. People like yourself can make a name for being able to create this stuff and teach people how to program and produce that kind of stuff. Why has it resonated so well, I guess is what I'm asking.
I think that Workshop is not only the tool to make mods or like silly game mods or anything. It actually is a tool for direct dialogue with the developer, with Blizzard. Because now we have something other than just, going to forums and moaning about stuff and whining. Now, if we want something to be changed, we have a fairly big toolbox to change that and to show that to Blizzard for them to decide. I'm fairly certain that in the future we will see a lot of features implemented into the game that will come from the workshop. And yeah, that just puts this relationship between community and Blizzard as a developer to a whole new level. It creates that middle ground where you can be both part of the community and kind of part of a developer too. So yeah, that's why I think it's so great.
And I guess it says a lot that within 24 hours of it going live, people had made stuff like Gun Game as like a good example, and no doubt, as you said, Blizzard can take that, add that into the arcade or whatever, and then do more with it. I guess my next question is, what would you like to see them add? Would you want a map editor or 3D adding tool, or do you think that's a bit too much too soon almost?
I don't see why I wouldn't want a map editor. Of course I would.
Is there anything else that you'd want, though? More so than that, I guess.
Well, there is a bunch of stuff that we want to be improved in the workshop, and the workshop community that has already formed has a lot of requests to Blizzard. But Blizzard seem to be fairly fast with all the updates now. They've released fast loops in just a couple of days since the release of the actual workshop, which was really great. And yeah, I think map editor will definitely like take this thing that already put the game to a whole new level, just to another level above it.
What's your favorite thing that you've seen so far from somebody else?
Oh damn, from somebody else.
We'll go for like a silly, and then one that's actually a really good tool that you'd like to see embellished and established later on. You know, kind of like your tool with the Ana Grenade. It's really good for being able to teach you where you want to position your reticle to get your grenade to land where. But yeah, first, the silly game mods that you've seen that is like, this is ridiculous and I love it.
I definitely think that the portal gun that was made by Lee Manandi GMB is one of the greater things, like greatest showcases of what can be done with that and how different of a game we can get from the workshop.
And what about some actual getting better at the game kind of tools?
Yeah, I haven't seen anything that's like as good as an innate tool so far. So I don't have a good answer for this one.
I guess what would you like people to make then? You know, like there's loads of other third-party games that help you get better with your aim. I can't remember the names off the top of my head.
Kovacs aim trainer is one of the biggest ones.
Yes. What would you like to see in a month or 2 months or 6 months time?
Ooh, it's hard to even imagine. The thing is, right now there is that really early stage of the workshop when people just try to push that as far as they can, try to find the limit for the workshop and what can they do with it. Like Portal Gun is a good example of how far you can push that tool. And new builds come out fairly fast, so I think in about a month or so we'll enter the stage where people like start working on bigger projects, bigger, more ambitious projects. When people actually know what the limit is and what they can do or can't do with that. And yes, for the type of thing like Kovacs aim train and all that, I definitely think that workshop will completely remove necessity in using external aim trainers and stuff, because I think that all that can definitely be fully recreated within Overwatch, so it would be way more efficient to improve your skill and to learn from that in-game.
And it's not even just stuff with accuracy, right? Like, because it's made in the Overwatch engine, you could practice stuff like your Diva bombs, or like you've sort of put Ana Grenades does elements where in these aim practice things you don't have the mechanics to really replicate a Diva bomb or an Ana Grenade and stuff like that. I guess penultimately, what do you have to really say about the workshop? Because it seems that everybody's really into it. The possibilities seem somewhat endless, but again, do you really think that this is one of the biggest things that Blizzard have done, and why?
It 100% is the biggest thing they've done, because I don't know a single game that released a game editor and it was a bad decision. I just can't name a single game. Like every game that released any sort of game editor increased its lifespan by years. And I think that along with the Overwatch League, Workshop and the Overwatch League are the things that will probably keep the game going for a really long time. And that's something to be excited about.
It definitely feels that they've added a huge amount of longevity to Overwatch, and considering people were getting frustrated with the state of competitive, it's a nice addition to take away some of the emphasis on Overwatch being a competitive game. Because I guess that's the other thing too, where there are so many fans of Overwatch and the cultural phenomenon that it is. You know, the t-shirts, the Funko Pops, the cereals and stuff like that. Yet not many people like playing competitive Overwatch anymore because it can be quite a toxic experience. So I guess in that manner, this has helped out the game quite a lot, right?
Yes, definitely. Blizzard has always been trying to appeal to both casual and more of a hardcore competitive players. And that's an incredibly challenging task. And I think that with that tool, we as players, we're now more capable of creating at least casual stuff. I think actually with introducing that tool, Blizzard have the chance to maybe focus even more on competitive side of things, while we can improve and build upon casual part of the game ourselves.
And finally, where can people see more of you testing out certain builds that you've been running? What is it that you're going to be working on next? But, generally, where can people find you? Plug your Twitch and that.
Yeah, just go to twitch.tv Darwin streams, and you can find me doing some funky stuff almost every day around 1 p.m. Central European time is where I start. I prefer not to make something extremely complicated like an innate tool. I prefer just to take requests from chat and just to show to people how easy it is to create something really cool and funny in a really short amount of time.
And that's it for this time. Thank you very much for watching. As I said, you can check out all of Darwin's stuff in the description below. Do check him out. He's probably making some pretty cool stuff. Thanks again for watching. Take care, and I'll see you next time.